Welcome, everybody. Oh, we've got so many people. Our audience is coming in. Hey, everybody. My name is Julian. I'm going to be hosting this fantastic show. We have some wonderful comedians. Yeah, check out the chat. Thank you so much for supporting Lit and attending this virtual show for the best viewing experience. Please mute your mic, change your settings to sidebar. I don't even know what that means. That's not something I've done. We're doing a lot of great stuff. We've got great comics on the stage for you tonight. We've got some great comics in the audience. We've got icons such as Barbara. We've got who knows what else we have. My name is Julian Stern, and I actually, I performed at LITFest probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it was my first big festival. As you can see, if you perform at like these comics are next up. People that you could see hosting LitFest in a couple of years. Is that? I'm gonna try this song that I've been working on before we get to the comics. Can you all hear this? Okay, this is about the time that I met Anne Hathaway at Target. Well, I didn't really meet her. I saw her at Target. But it's true. I saw Anne Hathaway at Target once upon a time. She was looking at some sensible containers, I believe. I sprint walked right around the corner where I found the guy. I said, "Anne Hathaway is here." He said, holy shit, are you for real? There we go. Yeah, I got it. And for years upon years, I told my story, and it brought people joy. But the joy was short-lived. You know why that joy was short-lived, Tiffany? You know why, Meg? Because one day Beyonce went to Target and the Pat procured some pics, then promptly sold those pics to People magazine. So now when I inform someone at Hathaway shops at Target, they say, "Oh, that's pretty neat. You know Beyonce shops there too." Yes, it's pretty neat, and I know Beyonce shops there too. But you know what the difference is, Tiffany?
What's the difference?
The difference is, Tiffany. The difference is, Tiffany. What's the difference, Tiffany? Well, Tiffany, the difference is you saw a photograph of a highly photographable and photographic person in a magazine in which she is often photographed. My own eyes. I'm joking. A motherfucking fun teen Catwoman never was Prada girl.
Oh, Lordy.
Mention the goddamn Princess of Shinobi. That's the song so far, guys. It's a work in progress. It's true. I did that song once, and somebody afterwards said, "I saw Al Pacino at Target," and so that just ruined the whole point of this. The whole point of the song is that people get excited about the fact that Beyonce went to Target, but I saw Anne Hathaway there. I saw Al Pacino there at the exact same Target, actually. But that's neither here nor there. What is here and not there, what is here right now, is your first fantastic comic. She's one of my favorites. She's fantastic. Give it up for Meg Hashem.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Big shout out to Barbara. Am I right? That's so funny. You're talking about Anne Hathaway at Target because that made remind me. I used to always see Joe Biden at the post office. But like I would like see him, but I'd never register with him until my mom was like, "Do you know who that is?" Because like, he's just some old white man, and I'm McLean, Virginia, so it's a lot of old white men. I don't know. It was kind of weird growing up out here, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Pride, and in honor of Pride Month, I am dressed like that suspicious cousin that comes to your birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese and only plays the shooting the hoops game. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. That's right. Today I'm dressed like an old school lesbian. And why is that? I agreed to go on a hike of Harper's Ferry with my mom today. Nature. It's nice out. I want to enjoy it. And so I was looking at All Trails. This is like shocked and appalled me. I was looking at the All Trails app to see like what's the best way to park. And one of the comments is way too many fat bitches on this trail. And I can't stop thinking about like what, first of all, how many fat bitches are too many fat bitches? So like, what was their metric? Second of all, why did you like go on the app to complain about it? Do you think Parks Trail, the National Park Service is going to come out with a scale and be like, I'm sorry, ma'am, 265, get the fuck out of here. Dad of 5 MD says no more fat bitches on this trail. It's been haunting me all day. Like, why did they say that? Also, will I get arrested for, am I one of the fat bitches on the trail? It was too much for me to handle. I don't know. It's been a lot, big mental process for me. I don't know why we have to do hate speech on all trails, but that's where we're at in America. And, I'm trying to get inside of this mind of the man. And I have been, I've never felt more masculine than I have in the past couple of months, specifically more like a sad middle-aged man. Recently, my Google searches have all been hair loss cures. So I've had to unclog drains, I've had to build desks, I've had to change oil, but I have never felt more like I am a 50-year-old man named Randy than when I'm looking up Rogaine and I look at my wall-to-wall package of Irish Spring soap. Like, I'm a sad divorced dad of 2, bachelor meals, probably watch Spike TV, right? And I do watch Bar Rescue still, but maybe that's, things are getting weird. But it's something about reading these Rogaine reviews has made me want to scratch my non-existent balls and, use a 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, body wash. But why am I losing hair? You might be thinking, oh, it's because of your unhealthy diet. And it's true. I do have an addiction to Entenmann's frosted devil's food donuts. Highly recommend, by the way. But it's because I was going through chemotherapy. Sad for me, not because of cancer, autoimmune disease. So that just makes me like nauseous and just, annoyed. Instead of cancer, which would make me noble, tragic, beautiful. When I was trying to look up jokes about chemotherapy to steal, because I don't really know what to think about it most of the time. They're always about having cancer. Like, oh, well, now I only have one ball. Now I only have one boob. Now I only have one lung. And I have all of my organs right now. And also, I'm kind of afraid like it would be cultural appropriation. And as a member of Gen Z, I'm very scared of cancel culture. I feel like all the times I've sent screenshots captioned "this you" to someone would come back to bite me hard. But I do say you should all consider me a trailblazer. I am incredibly brave and incredibly talented. And if you're not thinking that, I would like you to question why you're trying to bully someone who survived chemotherapy. But for the first time in my 25 years of life, I do feel like I have become a second-class citizen. No one really cares that I was getting pumped full of mercaptopurine because, it's just because I have a tummy ache. And no one gives a fuck about me. And I kind of understand, because if you had told me that, I would also be like, get the fuck over it and take an aspirin, little bitch. But looking back, I think that line of thinking is how I ended up having to get chemotherapy, because I just ignored every time I was sick. I was like, I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me. It turns out you can. Sad. There have been a lot of positives. Movies have taught me once you get blasted with radiation, you suddenly become very wise and have a certain joie de vivre. And now I'm tragic, kind, and positive. And, it's going to be a great dating app bio, chemotherapy survivor and corona survivor. Who else but me? But I have a lot of questions that have been raised through this, period of my life. First of all, wig shopping. Am I right, ladies? Kind of expensive. But if I go bald, I will look very ugly. Potato-like. Have you guys ever seen those babies that get the forceps pulled out? And so suddenly their heads are dimpled, to put it kindly. Anyways, I feel like I would look like that. I don't want to do it. Am I allowed to wear do-rags instead? Again, cultural appropriation. I don't want to be canceled. My eyebrows fall out. Do I get them microbladed? I don't know. Do-rag plus tattooed eyebrows. Suddenly I'm appropriating the culture of psychics. Don't want to do that either. I do have an excuse for falling asleep in the middle of conversations, which I used to do before I got sick, just because, to be blunt, sometimes people just talk, right? I'm not interested. But now I can fall asleep in the middle of a conversation, and I will have an excuse to be like, I'm sorry, just went through chemotherapy. If this isn't because I'm a bad person, it's because there's more important things in my mind, like dinner or where the next time I can lay down is. Thanks to the phenomenon of chemo brain, I cannot listen and take naps in the middle of the workday and have people get mad at me, because then they have to think again where they went wrong in life to be worrying about how they're bullying someone who went through chemotherapy. You know what? I'm a young girl who is dying. Not actually, but again, who are you to judge me? So my nails and skin are flaking off. kind of gross, kind of fun. Also kind of interesting. You can get manicures covered by insurance. So this is a whole new world for me. And, you know, big positive, lower appetite. So like I said, although I am one of the fat bitches mentioned in the All Trails app, I am finally losing weight. Hooray. But it's because I'm so nauseous and I have a throbbing headache most of the time. So when I do smell food, I want to die. This is kind of problematic because, you know, you still get hungry, but then I just get irrationally upset by the smell of food. So I'm in this Sisyphean cycle of torture where I want to eat the salad, but I think about eat the salad and, you know, eating crunchy leaves. That's all it is, just crunchy leaves. That's disgusting. So I have to run to the bathroom and I think to myself, wow, once I'm done puking, you know, it'd be so good, a salad. Losing weight because you're sick is weird because no one wants to congratulate you because you're not supposed to be dropping 10 pounds a week. So I'm like, well, damn, you can't win, can you? Society never wants to see the girl boss win. The other big plus, hair loss everywhere. So like I said, I don't want to lose the hair on my head and I don't really want to lose my eyebrows, but I was kind of excited because I kind of have hairy arms. I'm not going to lie. That is one of my big flaws. So I was like, cool, that'll fall out. No more having to shave my legs. Great. Shaving my armpits. Fine by me. Pubic hair. This is where I had to stop and think. So your pubes do fall out, but what is trendy with pubic hair right now? Sadly, but maybe fortunately, full bush. This could be very positive, right? Full bush, no more shaving. We're free, women. We're free. Am I right, Tiffany? Thank you. If we went back to full bush, again, society becomes one big full room of my haters. Why? I can't do it anymore. So a little upsetting. It's really making me question where all this bad luck has come from. Because I feel like I'm getting a lot of it, right? So I looked up to see what happened on February 9th, 1996, specifically to see if a war criminal died that day. And so I don't want to like name names, but that was a very bad day to be a member of the IRA. So on the topic of being born on February 9th, 1996, being exiled at the age of 25 is one of the most satanic things that's ever happened to me. Just imagine you're trapped in these four walls since like 8 a.m. All you can do is think about like, you know, 2 steps away, there's banana bread, but 3 steps away is the sound of 2 people fucking in your own home, right? Like I pay rent and I still have to deal with this kind of, it's not like I was back in the dorms where someone put a sock on your door and you can be like, oh, like, I'm going to go hang out with someone else. No, like I pay $1,200 a month to live here. Like I'm going to, you know, stake my territory. But unfortunately, I have to hear the sounds of slapping skin. And I'm not a player hater. I don't think I will ever be a player hater when it comes to this kind of thing. But hearing my childhood best friend getting her back blown out while I wake up next to a giant-sized squishmallow of a frog is a little bit upsetting to me. It makes me wonder if maybe I'm living my life wrong. Went to go text my sister about it recently, and I was like, oh, well, guess what? Who's having sex loudly while I'm trying to sleep in on this beautiful Sunday morning? And I remember she's their boyfriend. So her response is going to be, why don't you just get a boyfriend and have louder sex? It's my last boyfriend I dated for 3 years. I could not tell you a single reason why we dated or why we broke up. He was a piece of white paper and I was a white crayon. So nothing notable happened when the two of us combined. Just saying. The guy I dated before that actually made me believe in God. Not for like a, you know, romantic reason, but because I didn't get my period for 5 months while we were dating. And then I prayed away whatever was going on, passed a huge blood clot, getting my period fine. So I did briefly convert to evangelical Christianity for this. So just to walk it back, I was seeing this guy, I don't know, it was like high school, and then like you want to stay together after high school. So stupid. I know, you don't have to like judge me before it, okay? Like I was 18, okay? Let's not get into it. Anyways, so we started having sex. It was great. I was on the pill. He used a condom. I was young. I was having fun. And then we broke up. Oops. And then my period did not come. And it could have been from stress, right? It could have also been from other stuff. But my period did not come and did not come and did not come. And I was downing those vitamin C bottles. Again, you know what I'm talking about, ladies? Tiffany, thank you. Downing those vitamin C pills, right? And so finally, I was like, push comes to shove. I'm to school in the Midwest. I was like, I'm going to go to youth group. And so I went to youth group and I prayed those Hillsong songs. You know, Jesus, lead me where my feet can touch the water in the presence of my Savior, da-da-da-da-da. Did the whole shebang. I remember worshiping, hand up to God, like, please, I cannot be pregnant. I will do anything to not be pregnant. And I went on a church retreat and we were playing Boggle, which I've never played since because what the fuck is Boggle? We were playing Boggle and I went to use the bathroom and I sneezed and sploosh. I don't know what happened, but I do think the power of God was within me that day. So yes, that whole relationship did make me realize I think there is a God. And I do think he's trying to test me at all times. One of these tests, not just being sexiled and maybe or maybe not being pregnant and having to go through chemotherapy, is my job. So what is my job? My job title is penetration tester. So I'm pausing for laughs. I guess it's not that funny. I think it's kind of funny that I'm a penetration tester. What does a penetration tester do? It's like ethical hacking. Like you go into people's like software for like their companies and you're like, oh, okay, like is it easy to get into? Is it easy to get out to? But there's not a lot of women in technology. I know, big shock, right? Not a lot of women in technology, definitely not a lot of penetration testers who are female. And I'm 99% sure it has to do with the title because what a terrible fucking title that is. But all the guys on my team are what I would like to call incel core. So they always have these jokes I don't get about like Monty Python. And they're like, you've never seen Monty Python? And I'm like, no, actually, like in high school, I was going to parties. And in middle school, I was playing sports. And in elementary school, I mean, maybe then. But who the fuck is watching that in elementary school? They're like, you ever seen Monty Python? No. Oh, you don't watch? What was the other thing? Maybe you guys have heard of this, Lord of the Rings. Why the fuck would I ever watch? Like, they have to wear fake feet. I'm not watching that shit. That sounds perverse. Very perverse to me. Fake feet, stunt feet to be exact. Anyways, so these guys always, I think they think I'm kind of a dumb blonde, which I get, you know. My computer setup is pink. I have blonde hair. I'm not very good at my job, so I understand it. It hurts my feelings, but I understand it. But they test me every day because every day they're always talking about their girlfriends. I'm thinking, who are these women who are dating you absolute imbeciles? Who are these you unwashed, nerdy Canadian freaks? Who is dating you? So I was like, can you send me a picture of you and your girlfriends? And now they think I'm a pervert. Anyways, their girlfriends are ugly, so it worked out. But anyways, it was the whole thing was perverse. Another thing that tests me every day is my mom on Facebook. On the larger scheme of things, it's Facebook. But my mom specifically is constantly beefing with her family because they all like voted for Trump. They like thin blue line, whatever that means. I don't know. I never cared. And her thing is like writing essays about how much she hates Donald Trump, right? I know, so unique and original. But collectively, they're all on there sharing these same very terrible memes about like, you know, back in our day, we didn't have a street lights, or we would play outside until it got dark and we didn't wear seatbelts. And like, yeah, but also like back in your day, everyone was getting like molested and murdered by serial killers. My least favorite meme is before we had cell phones, we used to have real conversations, and use the example of like trying to remember an actress in a movie. Who the fuck ever wants to have a more than a 1 minute conversation of whether Helen Hunt was a Twister? I guarantee you, I do not give a fuck. Google is free. It's free. Let's use it. It's disgusting. It's terrifying. That's just about it for my time. Thank you everyone for listening. I don't have much else to say, which is shocking for me. But I would like you all to remember, if you do see a suspicious individual at Chuck E. Cheese wearing basketball shorts, a long t-shirt, and old-ass Jordans, specifically only playing that basketball game, remind yourselves to wish them a happy Pride.
Going for Meg Hashem, everyone. Yes, happy Pride to everyone, especially the Papa Shotters out there. Thank you, Simone, for reminding us the name of that excellent game. Speaking of suspicious individuals, we've got an amazing, very not suspicious comic up next. He is, Barbara, thank you. Light up the chat, Barbara. Keep it going for that, that lighten up. You know, I'm excited to see what he's going to talk to us about. Barbara is a queen. So much love going on in the chat. Keep that going. And keep it going for the one, the only Paul Mooney.
Woo!
Yeah. Who here knows what Louis Gohmert said this week?
Oh my God. Me.
Okay, one person.
Me.
Okay, here's how I know that America has about like 10 to 15 years left as a country. It's because a sitting representative asked, no, that's not it at all, asked the National Forestry Service and the Bureau of Land Management during Congress, like during a congressional hearing, if we could fix climate change by somehow changing the rotation of the Earth around the sun. And the fact that he said so is not even major news. One person knew about this. Like this isn't like holy shit, like something's seriously wrong. Something that there's no one at the wheel. The captain is dead. This is just like a minor fact. And whenever I hear things like this, like whenever I get to these stories, I always like to think like, what, like live inside this man's mind and make it make sense because it made sense to him when he said it out loud, right? Make it make sense to him because it's made sense to him when he said it out loud. And this is the only thing. It's that Louis Gohmert has a part of his mind deep down where he imagines a future in which in the schools, in a classroom, in a social studies classroom, in a 7th grade classroom, they're like, hey, whatever happened with climate change? They're like, oh, that's today's lesson. Today's lesson is about how a man who, as late as 2015, said that climate change was not a bad deal because you had more carbon dioxide, which means that there's more for the plants to breathe. That man, it is because that man with no scientific training told the forestry department of the United States, what if there was a way that we could just make the years longer without making the days longer so that we get less of that sun in our faces, and then so that we get a slightly less hot Earth. And if it wasn't for him suggesting that, that was it. Thank God that guy with no scientific training said it on a Zoom meeting, or else we wouldn't have been able to do it, right? And now, because we moved the sun away from the Earth, we have a slightly longer year, but the days didn't change at all because we didn't change that rotation. And now we have an extra month that's entirely Christmas. So thank God that we had thick Roger Stone to be able to suggest this stuff. Or else that really would have been it. So I would like to play for you a power ballad. This is a power ballad that I wrote spontaneously. It came out of my mind like Athena from Zeus's skull as I was making the strugglest meal I've ever made in my entire life. It's a meal made of struggle, and out of struggle comes love, and out of love comes power ballads. So, is that too loud? Is that good levels? Good. Tuesday night, feeling in the mood, hoping things get smelly. But loving is a cardio sport, so let's get some food in that belly. We've got no food for our humans, except for one more can. So I'll heat you up its contents, 'cause I'm a loving man. So I made you this can of Bush's baked beans, just to show that I love you. I also made you this can of baked beans, 'cause I physically need to eat. There's a special kind of baked bean, baby, and you're that kind of girl. So made you this can of Bush's baked beans, because you are my world. You made a face of disappointment that I could never fake when you asked me what kind of beans I was making, and then I said baked. Well, I'm looking for my bean Cinderella, and the slipper fits. Plus we haven't bought any food for 2 weeks, so it's this or instant grits. Open the can, the opener is broken. I'll just use a hammer, my heart is awoken. Put it on the stove, I see a glimmer. Now let's take our love and these beans to a simmer. I made you a pan of Bush's baked beans, just to show you that I love you. I made you this can of BBBs just to show I care. There's a special
Go.
kind of baked bean, baby, and you're that kind of girl. So made you this can of Bush's baked beans because you are my world. Because you are my world. Okay, so
Yay.
Next I want to talk about one of my favorite stories. It's something that I think it's one of those things that goes on in your childhood that if no one ever confirms it for you, you might not believe it was ever real. But what we would always do when we visited my grandma growing up is that we would always go to this. Let me see. We would always go to this grocery store called Stu Leonard's, in which they would have like little animatronic little food. It's one of those things that's like, I don't think that's really real. I think I just saw that on Bob's Burgers. That sounds more like a real investment that people would make. I don't really know why people would have that, but it's true. It's true. What they would do is that they had this. They would have things like the dancing avocados. They had an entire band that was just like containers of milk and other various dairy products. It was very stupid they did that. They also, what I really like is that they had the skim milk playing banjo, and they had the chocolate drumming, which, I mean, can they do that? I guess not. Sorry, I just missed my stop sharing. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing because it's like they do this like this is a business. Do they make money from this? They got a ton of customers. But it's like, is it worth it? I think they're great businessmen, even though eventually Stu Leonard got sent to prison for tax evasion. But you know what? We have agriculture subsidies that do our country no good. At least he's like doing something with our money. Like, I'd rather them build like animatronic milk cartons and avocados than us grow another 4 states worth of corn. So, anyways, one of the real of this was the Chiquita Banana Lady, which was just, I mean, first off, talk about unrealistic standards. She has like a 20-inch waistline and 0 curves. This is really the image that we want to be putting out for our children. But, and also, so she was always the greatest. She would come out of a little, there were many different types. So one at mine, it was this wooden box, so you wouldn't see her at all. This wooden box, and you'd press a button, and then she would come up like it was, like a bossa nova television show in the 50s, where like moving like platforms were the coolest thing in the world. And she would come out and she would go like, "La Chiquita Banana makes a great meal, so many great things under the peel. They've got vitamins," and so it's like okay, I know that the United Fruit Company supported a coup in Guatemala in the 1930s, but this almost makes up for it. Like, it's so cute. We're getting the kids to eat bananas. We get the kids to pick them, and then we get the other kids to eat them. So, anyways, yeah, lovely thing they had. Also, after several years, what happens is that like the Chiquita Banana Lady eventually starts like decaying around the area. Like, you can't really keep her fresh for long. I guess like a banana, she did literally, the rubber and the potassium both turns brown as the time goes on. So anyways, I saw this so much when I was a kid that I started like singing the song at home, and then this was recorded and it became a home video that I didn't see for many years. And in the interim years, my mom would always tell me that, she was always telling me this story, which is that I walked up to her in just my underwear with a little puzzle piece sticking out of the underwear. And I would walk up to her and I would just be like, "Push my button." And she would be like, "Why?" And I would be like, "Just do it. Trust me. It's going to be awesome. Just do it. It's sick. Just do it. And then she would push it. And then I would just go, "La Chiquita Banana It's a great meal, so many great things. And she said you knew all of the words, and I was like, okay, cool, sure. And then she told me the story many times. She told it at pretty much like every dinner party where she were friends over, where I was present, from the time where I was like 8 to the point where I was like 24. So this is a classic video. And then one day we were home, and she was like, holy shit, because she was like, I found the video. We're gonna watch it. And I was like, let's go. I'm so ready to like relive this memory. And so we get to, she puts in the video, we start watching the video, and I walk up and I'm like, and I was like, push my button. She's like, oh, why? And I was like, wouldn't you like to know? Haha, just do it. Just push my button. Come on, you know you want to. I didn't really say all that. But you know, I was just like, push my button. And then she pushed my button. And then I just went, ba 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 ba, boo doo boo boo doo boo, what ba ba da ba da ba 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 ba, and then the video ended, and then I looked at her and I was like, "Am I gonna sing the song?" And she was like, "Did," and I was like, "Hold on." I did not sing a song. She's like, "Okay, it wasn't word for word," and I was like, "There were no words," which is amazing because I was like. Was I even trying to be the Chiquita banana lady? Like, I get the button thing, I get it, but it's like it just is amazing to me because it's not like that's not like that crazy of a thing. Like naturally as humans, what we do is that we like you know, memory is not like a hard drive on a computer. Like, you know, it's interpretive. You don't really remember dialogue. You sort of reconstruct these things based on what they mean to you. And I think that that's great because it's like really what it says. Like, what does it say about a mother's love that you can watch like the shittiest performance anyone has ever given event. It was not a good. There was no good singing. There was no good choreography. But in her mind, it's like she remembers that, and it's just like, you know, a 1950s like Lawrence Welk performance where like Astrid Gilberto like comes up on a thing and she has like the feathers and like the hat of fruit and she's like, La Chiquita banana makes a great meal, so many great things under the peel, and she like, you know, strips off like an outer layer and it's like a quick change and it's just like and it's like that like hallucination thing, and then really it's just like you see the real thing and it's just me like whoop, 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 whoop. So anyways, Julian, how much time do I have left?
2.5 minutes.
2.5. That's perfect. This is perfect. I'm gonna close. Whoa, shit! I'm gonna close us out with another song. This is a song that I think is a nursery rhyme. It's a lullaby, and it's a great thing when someone is not only having trouble sleeping, but trouble not talking so that they can go to sleep. So I encourage you to sing this if you ever need to get someone to get sleepy, or at least be quiet before doing so. Ooh, that's loud. Okay.
No, it's...
That's what I've read.
Now is the time when we close our mouths. If you have thoughts, don't say them out loud. For now is the time we shut up and start to dream. There's a beautiful world that awaits us, but if you keep talking, it will not take us. So be quiet now, or I will scream. For now is the time when we go to sleep. Don't let your lips say another peep. So go the fuck to sleep. Shh.
They're going for Paul Mooney, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what a fantastic song, fantastic performance. The thing about things from childhood that you don't, they can't have been true. This isn't my childhood, but I found out recently from a coworker that the county where she went to school in Washington, in Washington State, not DC. Not that matters. Unimportant to the story, but you need to know. I don't want you to go walking around the neighborhood looking for this school. They're all named after famous women, and all the elementary schools are named after famous women. That's really cool. She went to Krista McAuliffe Elementary. Krista McAuliffe, obviously the teacher who went up on the Space Shuttle Challenger and unfortunately perished. When she went to school, the mascot of Krista McAuliffe Elementary was the Challengers. And I said, this cannot be true. I need to look this up. I need to find out this school that used that. And not only is it true, it remains their mascot.
Oh.
Like, what are we doing, everyone? Where was the Amelia Earhart? Like what? I don't know. I just had to share. I honestly thought about telling you all that last week, and I completely forgot. So I had to share it. But right now, I'm sharing something even better. I'm sharing your fantastic final comment for the hour. She's wonderful. I can't wait to see what she's talking about. Tiffany Harding.
Hello. Hi. So the way when you said Challenger, you reminded me how old I am because I'm turning. My birthday is tomorrow. Hold your applause, please. I'll be turning 41. I watched the Challenger live. I was in first grade, and they had lined us all up in front of the TV, and it was the 80s. It was a TV that was about 80 pounds. It's about this big. But anyway, and we made little popsicle stick space shuttles. We were like, we're gonna watch the space shuttle launch. It's gonna be so much fun. Yay! And here it goes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look at it go. Raise your little space shuttle sticks. What's happening? Is it supposed to do that? Oh, and the teacher was like, okay, let's turn that off. All right. So what happened? No, don't worry about it. Okay. And another thing I'm going to tell you that's going to age myself, right? So my school was right next to, at the time, it's called Andrews Air Force Base, right? And this was during what's called the Cold War. For you young people who may not know, we still had air raid drills back then. We still did duck and cover drills back then, right? Because we were right next to the Air Force Base, and you would hear about once a month the siren go off. And so we were supposed to put our heads down like this and get under our desks. Okay, this was before the breakup of the Soviet Union. There was still an East and West Germany back then. Okay, and I know in my lifetime, we still did duck and cover because we were still very much at the end of the Cold War, but it was still a thing back then. And yeah, I'm old. But I put it this way, my skin still looks good. I don't have crow's feet just yet. And I've lived the lives of two 20-year-olds, okay? And I have no regrets. Let's talk about ancient mythology. People have been telling the same stories. And I used to be an English teacher. That was my first career. And the same stories get told. You learn a pattern. There's a pattern when it comes to storytelling, okay? The same stories get told over and over again, and men have issues with women, okay? And every guy, no matter how tough he is probably maybe a little bit gay. Happy Pride Month, everybody. So one of the first stories ever put down, stylus to clay tablet, is the story of Gilgamesh. Okay, this was an epic poem that I taught my students, and it's about a king named Gilgamesh, and he ruled over the land of Uruk, and Gilgamesh had BDE. Do you know what BDE means? Anybody? What does BDE mean, Julian?
Big dick energy.
There you go. He had the big dick energy. He ruled over his kingdom. Okay, he made men fight for his own entertainment until they dropped dead from exhaustion. He told every newlywed couple, see that girl you about to marry her? Yeah, guess who gets to fuck her first? Gilgamesh does. Okay, he would take whatever he wanted. He did whatever he wanted. He swang it. You got hit by it. Okay, so the people were like, "We are fed up with this. Gods, help us!" So the gods made a man, a wild man, out of clay, and they put him outside the city. He was covered in hair, and he was wild. His name was Enkidu, and Enkidu wasn't really doing. This is true. Enkidu wasn't really doing what he was supposed to do. He was running around with the animals, and he would set off traps, that the people was putting out for their hunting. He would break the fishing poles, and they were like, "Gods, what the hell? We was asking you for a man to help us beat Gilgamesh, and you gave us a monster man. What the fuck?" And so they were like, "Look, you wanted a man to help beat Gilgamesh. This is what you got." And so the people were like, "Okay, we need to tame the wild man." So what do you think they did? They got a sacred prostitute. She was a sacred prostitute, which meant that she was above all other women, but she used the power of her sex, whatever the hell that meant, to seduce the wild man. She has sex with a stinky, ratchet, hairy wild man for 7 days and nights, and that magically tamed him. Okay, story, whatever. So he came into the city because the animals didn't want anything to do with him anymore because he had the stank of humanity on him. Kind of reminds me of other stories. Once the man gets hooked up with a woman, he's no longer wild. He was civilized. So Gilgamesh saw this guy. He was just as strong. He's like, "Oh, okay, you want to fight? Yeah, let's fight." So him and Enkidu wrestled. They fought each other. And then he was about to beat him. But Gilgamesh was like, "Nah, we're friends now." "Wait, what?" "You were supposed to beat him so that we could be free." And I'm like, wait a minute. This is the plot of Fast Five. Seriously, two enemies that just fight each other with BDE and become friends. This is Step Brothers. This is every movie about two guys that start out with enemies, fight over pussy, and then become friends. And they're all corrupted by women, of course. Every epic tale, every epic mythology story is about two guys that maybe started out as enemies, get corrupted by a female, and then become friends. It's so weird. And it's telling about the mentality of men. Sorry, guys. I know you guys are friends of mine, but you're really creepy. I'm sorry. Anyway, who likes mattresses? There's a mattress chain called Sleepy's. They say that they're the mattress professionals. And I was thinking, hey, I'd like to buy a mattress from a professional. I wouldn't want to get one from an amateur. So yeah, this is a mattress, I guess. It's got stuffing and you lay down on it. I'm just an amateur. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know. You should have went to Sleepy's. They're professionals. Anyway, there's this year's 2021, right? The movie A Quiet Place was supposed to take place in 2021. You had the movie Mission to Mars that took place in 2020. Blade Runner took place in 2019. I still don't have my replicant. So I think the movie the book 1984 was 1984, but what's happening then is kind of what's happening now. I'm afraid of what's going to happen in 2022. Let's just hope, for God's sake, that A Quiet Place 2, which came out in 2021, doesn't happen in 2022, which is a whole lot of math that I'm gonna have to get my whiteboard out. But I'm in Wakanda now, and I didn't bring it. Anyway, has anybody been to New York? Yes. You have, Meg? Thank you. I've only been once, and I'm proud to say that. You can call me a yokel all you want. I've traveled to so many other cities. It's just the one that I only went to once was New York. I've been to Tokyo. I've been to London. I've been to LA. I've been to Paris just once. But New York is the one that everyone says go to. But I've learned a lot of it because I watched this travel documentary series called London Special, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I learned a lot about what it's like to navigate and live in New York City. It's a weird place. It's a violent place. And it seems like when you go to New York City, you're going to get raped and or molested. And the cops and the criminals will yell at you, but they won't cuss at you, which I guess is okay. If they get your suspect, the cops will always find a place to park right in front of their apartment building or workplace, which is awesome. There's almost never any traffic, which is great. I mean, you keep hearing people talk about New York traffic, but the people on this documentary series I watched don't ever seem to run into it. The DAs and the defense attorneys are always young and slim, and their hair and makeup is perfect and beautiful, and they never seem to have any burnout or issues, and they don't seem to be affected from it. But there's this one guy who looks a lot like Ice-T, who has been a detective for like 20 years, but he still needs shit explained to him. I don't want him on my case. He's like, they're like, yeah, that's yo, can you explain that to me? I'm like, dude, you should know this. You've been a cop for like forever. Come on. They always seem to have people that look exactly like celebrities doing crimes. I mean, that guy looked a lot like Owen Wilson, and he totally did it. Look at the guy who looks like a celebrity. He did it. And if you are a criminal or a victim, you will have a gigantic rent-controlled apartment. Dude, I want to go to New York again, but I'm kind of afraid of really tall buildings. It's a totally different story. Let's go back to space. Yeah, my style is all over the place. I did a lot of ketamine this morning. I'm just kidding. It's my birthday coming up. Gifts all around. I went to the Air and Space Museum last week. It was the big one out by Dulles, where they keep all the airplanes. I was overwhelmed. I love airplanes. I love space. I love air. Really love air because I like breathe it all the time. It's awesome. If you don't have air, sucks. But one thing that I learned is just how much everything has advanced in such a short amount of time. Our satellites used to just be balls with sticks in them, about the size of a toaster, and you shot that up into space, and it was a revolution. The part of the Cold War, which I talked about earlier, was about which country could fling up the goofiest looking piece of garbage up into space. But now we're sending things that are amazing. We're landing robots on Mars. It used to be a big deal when I was in my 20s, so long ago. They were putting these gigantic motorized vehicles on Mars, and it was a huge deal. It was first just to see what was going on, to observe. We launched our first probe. It was called the Observer. We're just looking around up here. Yeah, I see lots of dusty red rocks. That's the Observer probe. And then we want to touch down. Now we're going on a brand new mission. We call that the Mars Odyssey. This is an odyssey, you see. And then people were a little bit less concerned, but it's still pretty interesting. And then we want to poke around some more. Now we got some new wheels, a new wave of Curiosity. This is the Curiosity probe. And now people aren't so interested, but we're going to keep going. So we have the Perseverance. I see. We're naming our probes after how we feel. And then we have more new technology. And then we have the Ingenuity probe. It's got a camera with a little hand on it, like a Muppet, and it opens and closes. We can pick up rocks and put them down again fucking magnificent. No one cares anymore. And I'm thinking, what's the next probe gonna be called? Oh, we're setting up another fucking probe. What's it called? The Monotony. Mars the Monotony. And then the Tedium. And now no one cares and we're bored with this crap. We'll call it the Ennui. Nobody cares about Mars. I only got a minute left. So I guess I'll tell a knock knock joke. Knock knock.
Who's there?
A very polite cow.
A very polite cow who?
A very polite cow who will not interrupt you and says moo. Sorry. Thank you for having me, everyone. And please enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Pride. And I'll see you next time.
Keep it going for Tiffany Harding, everyone. So very polite, never interrupting and saying occasionally interrupting and saying other things, but they're pretty interesting and I love hearing about them. Barbara, killing it in the chat.
Thank you.
So smart and so funny. I couldn't have said it better myself. Friends, that was the hour. You got to see Meg Hashem. Keep it going for Paul Mooney. Keep it going for Tiffany Harding, who frankly, I mean, I've always known Gilgamesh was a thing, but I've never known the story at all. So this was really helpful, and I appreciate it.
And I only did half of the story. There's much, much more after that.
I have no... We have received the Chiquita Banana performance video. Paul, are you able to share it?
Yeah, can you share it to me too? Oh, you sent it over Facebook?
This might be too stressful for Paul. We didn't know what happened today.
It's because I have an Android. It's like anytime you send videos over texting, it like looks like a nightmare. So
maybe
Facebook is a reliable way, or email. But we shall see.
Yeah, Barbara doesn't know how to do that. You have to explain. Wait a second. You have to explain things to Barbara, Paul? I don't think I've ever heard any stories about that. Check out one of the 3 or 4 people who's already involved in Lit on
Thank
here.
you, Barbara.
I believe this is the same link for the next hour where we're going to be seeing some fantastic other comics. You might be seeing one of their faces right now. Simone Mishler, Dave Rosenthal. I saw some people hop in, so maybe you're here to see one of them, or Evie Demi. Those are all starting up in just 5 minutes. But if you were just here for that hour, please enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Pride, as Tiffany said. And we'll see that video one day. Bye-bye.